Hello, hey, hi, I'm Ghosty, and welcome back to the Underworld. If you clicked on the video, then you already know what it's about, so I'm not going to waste any time, and we're going to hop right into it. Because today we're looking at the brand new trailer for the upcoming DC movie, Black Adam. Obviously, if you know me at all, or the channel whatsoever, then you know I love DC. So I'm really interested in this movie, and I'm intrigued. Because a lot of companies have been making movies about a villain, and Black Adam is exactly that, a villain, or now more of an anti-hero, anti-villain sort of status. But we'll see when the movie comes out how to deal with him. And the Black Adam was played by The Rock, so how could you not love that? But like I said, I'm not going to waste any more time. The trailer's out, and we're going to watch it. Yes, we're going to watch it together. Come on, let's go. Alright, some snowy
Black
mountains. Cool.
What have your powers ever given to you?
Man, he's small. Surprisingly.
Nothing but heartache.
I
can't wait to see him.
until I died. Then I was reborn a god.
Whew.
My son sacrificed his life to save me.
We saw this clip already.
Now, I kneel before no one.
Shit. That was a pretty good
In
line.
this world, there are heroes
Hawkman, Adam, Dr. Fate!
and there are villains.
Hell yeah.
Heroes don't kill people. Well, I do.
Oh my god. I feel like that's what would happen.
Shown me the future.
Nah, wait, I'll shut up.
You have two choices. You can be the destroyer of this world, or you
Damn.
can be its savior. That's up to you.
Behind you! You just catch a rocket?
Damn! That was pretty fucking cool. No harm. Yeah. Black Adam. October. Cool. Let's go. Alright, and the trailer was pretty damn good, I think. Didn't really tell us much about the story. We saw more of each characters and other characters that are going to be involved. It didn't tell us much about the actual plot, but it does tell us about a big thing that I think is going to be a huge factor in it, which I hope they really capitalize on. And that said thing is the line between hero and villain. And the more I see for this movie and from this movie, the more I'm interested in it and the more hype I get for it, because I think it could be a really solid film. Shazam was pretty good, and if you weren't aware, Black Adam is Shazam's nemesis, or his arch nemesis. It's like Batman and Joker, Spidey and Green Goblin, that kind of thing. And I'm really hoping they really do capitalize on that and really embrace it, like his line, that he can't cross, and lines that he crosses anyways, he's on the fence between hero and villain. And Black Adam is a full-on menace, and I really hope they do that in this movie and make him seem to be the same way. It looks like it by the trailer. It looks like they're doing that. He's badass, he's strong, and he's powerful, and he's feared, which is what he should be. And he's a full-on menace. That's what he should be, and I really hope he is portrayed by that. And I really hope The Rock can do a great job with his performance and really bring the character to life. And it's not only Black Adam either. We're getting other DC characters that haven't gotten the spotlight yet, which I'm really glad are getting they're shining light on some characters that we haven't seen yet. Hawkman in live action, he looks pretty dope. The helmet looked kind of big and a little weird on him, but that's besides the point. Before I move on, I want to say this. DC Comics is not afraid to go full on comic accurate suits kind of thing, which I love. I love that they embrace it to the fullest. Even other projects, Peacemaker, Aquaman, pretty much everything is great. At least when it comes to the DCEU. Like other projects that aren't in that, like the Batman from this year, earlier this year. You all know what I'm talking about. The Batman, the Riddler isn't comic accurate whatsoever when it comes to his like physical design, but it was still a great character and a great portrayal. But in this and the DCEU, the DCEU, they're not afraid of it, and they're not afraid of like getting too comfortable with it. They don't hold back with the comic accurate stuff, which I'm a big fan of. But the characters that they're shining light on, which I'm really glad, Hawkman, Atom Smasher, and Dr. Fate. I am so excited to see Dr. Fate. I'm not gonna like fraud and say like I know too much about him. I looked into him. I know a decent amount about him. But the first time I really like got into his character was because of Injustice. And Dr. Fate is an awesome character. I love that he's getting time on the big screen, and he's gonna be well known, and he's gonna increase in popularity. So maybe we'll see him be used more like after all as time in general as time goes on in the DC project. Yeah, I'm just really excited to see Dr. Fate. That's one of my most anticipated things in this film. Like I said, I really hope they capitalize on Black Adam's like how much of a menace he is and how much of a straight up villain he is. I hope they don't go down the route of Venom and the number one movie in the world right now, Morbius. I didn't talk about that whatsoever on the channel. I had to mention it, but like that kind of thing. A lot of movies are being made that focus and are all surrounded by the protagonist, which is a villain. Recently, like we had like Morbius, like I said, like a Venom, Joker from 2019 did it. Not really comic book way at all, really, but they still did it. And they did the same thing with this. They have a solo movie about a villain, but I really hope they actually do make him a villain instead of an anti-hero. Maybe at the end he'll really have to fight all the heroes that we see, like Hawkman, Atom Smasher, Dr. Fate. I'm not sure. We'll have to see it. But by the looks of the trailer, he's leaning towards more of that, and he's a full-on menace. Like I said, that's what I want to see, and I want to see him actually be a villain instead of some anti-hero and them trying to make him like family-friendly kind of thing. Or maybe not family-friendly, but just look at Venom, for example. He's in a nightclub singing in Venom 2 for some ungodly reason. I don't know why, but things like that. I hope they go, I don't think they should hold back, and I don't want them to hold back for Black Adam. He's a menace, he's a full-on villain, and that's what they should portray him as, and I'm really hoping for that. And then other things, just like Dr. Fate, I'm really interested in seeing him, like I said. I'm really interested in seeing Hawkman 2 and Atom Smasher. They're pretty cool as well, but my entire eyes, not only Black Adam, but of course on Dr. Fate. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it now. I'm going to make it clear. Dr. Fate is the superior sorcerer between him and Doctor Strange. That's clear. On this channel, that's how it is. I mean, it's basically DC over Marvel overall, besides when it comes to cinematics and like live action movies and films. Everything else DC is beyond. I'm more of a DC fan myself, so I'm maybe biased. I'm not sure. But without being biased, I think DC still takes the cake for everything besides like live action films. They tried their cinematic universe, didn't quite work, but I guess now they're trying. I mean, they're still trying it, but now it's been better. They had the Suicide Squad from James Gunn. They had Birds of Prey. They have this. They have the Flashpoint movie coming out, and again they have Shazam. And I think all these movies do pretty well. But everything else with like Superman and Wonder Woman and Batman, they try to squeeze everything together like really quickly to try to catch up with the MCU, and just overall they rushed it a little bit and had everything too packed together. Even though I did enjoy BVS, I did enjoy it. I think it's just something to point out, and I think Black Adam is a step in the right direction, and how they're actually again shining lights on like not famous characters, like lesser known characters, and just bringing out more characters and bringing more of DC Comics to life on the big screen. So it's something to look forward to. And speaking of comics, like they're full on like going into the lore. They have his city where he's from, Kondak or Kondak. I'm not trying to pronounce it. I think it is Kondak. But they have that. They have the entire story of him being a slave and having to go through hell and back basically, and having everyone around him and everyone he loves basically ended up being killed, and then he's come back and returns as Black Adam. So they're fully on doing like his comic storyline. That's what it is, and they're doing it on the big screen, which I'm a fan of. Again, they're not afraid of going deep into comics and making like the comic book come to life and converting from the stories from paper to the cinema, which again I love. And then they also have Cyclone, which I don't think that they showed her in this trailer. I don't know why, but I don't think we saw Cyclone in this. But she's another character I'm looking forward to. But I'm looking forward to everyone, really. I'm interested into the movie as a whole. I don't think we know who the villain is yet, unless Black Adam is the villain himself. And even though he is the protagonist, it goes into detail and it goes farther into the movie, and we learn that he is the villain and he is the antagonist as well as the protagonist. Well, in that case, I guess the heroes will be the antagonist, since he is the protag. Not sure how that works, but he could be the villain. We don't know. But we do see some people on like kind of speeder vehicles, like bikes, or like I don't know, some sort of like flying speedster thing that they're flying around on, and they're basically the antagonist. At least the trailer makes it out to seem so. So maybe they are, maybe not sure. But for like a number one villain, like a big bad villain, like an actual named villain, we're not sure yet. So I'm not sure. Comes out in October, so there's definitely a big chance we'll get another trailer or two before the movie comes out. So Black Adam trailer 2 and Black Adam trailer 3 are definitely probable. Oh yeah, and also their designs. Well, actually, I kind of talked about it already. Well, I said they're like comic book accurate or whatever, which they are, but like I still love it. And I just say how much I enjoyed them. I don't know. I guess I kind of did, kind of not. I don't know. I love them regardless, and you all know that, and you're all well aware of that by now. But I really do hope the biggest takeaway is that I hope it's a good movie, and I hope it does make him a villain and actually capitalize on him being a villain instead of making him an anti-hero. And I really like that the biggest factor from this and for his character is that he's on the fence of whether or not he wants to be a hero or a villain. Now that he has these powers of a literal god, he has to figure out what side of the fence he's on and what side he wants to take, which I'm a fan of. Especially that now this is kind of an origin story. They do dive into his origin, so it could be right after he gets his powers. Not sure yet. We gotta see it, but that is what it makes out to seem like from this trailer. So I just really want them to capitalize on that whole motif that he's on either the good or the bad side. He's not sure whether to be a hero or a villain. But Black Adam, like in general, is a full-on menace, and he's a full-on like deep down bad villain. So I really hope they do capitalize on that and really embrace it. Like this, we see him throw someone across like miles and miles away. We see him like full on like just deck a plane and make it explode by a single punch. Which, by the way, he flies in that scene, which looks a little weird. Just seeing the Rock fly around with no cape is a little weird. But in that scene, he punches the plane or whatever, and then he like it is so fast. He just like teleports basically, but he doesn't teleport. He just flies there, and he's super fast, which is really cool to see. I really like the action and sequences and like I guess it would be called action still. All that stuff is really cool to see, and they're really embracing this power and his strength that he has, which I like. Like he's kind of OP, and they're embracing it and they're showing it off, which I like. But I really do want them to just focus on that, and I want them to make it seem like Black Adam is a villain, and I hope they embrace it. Like I said, I hope they capitalize on that, and I hope that is like the biggest thing in this movie, that is either a hero or a villain. But he's a full-on villain. I hope that is the way that they go with this, and hopefully that does go into like a storyline between him and Shazam, because Shazam 2 is coming out, and they're enemies. He's like Shazam's arch nemesis, so he kind of has to meet past sometime down the line. So we'll have to see it soon, hopefully, at least. But I hope they make it to where Black Adam is like, obviously this tragedy falls upon him, and I hope that they make it out to be where you could feel for him and you could see why he does what he does with these powers, since he's a villain. Which I hope they make him a villain, like I said. But I hope they make it to where you could feel for Black Adam and you could like feel the emotions for him, because this tragedy falls upon him, and you could see why he's doing what he does. But at the same time, it's such evil acts that it's not justifiable. So when he fights Shazam, it's this big. It's more than a fight. It's more than just a physical fight. More than just hero versus villain things. It's a mental, physical, emotional battle between these two. That both of them believe in different things, and they're doing it for different reasons. But they had to clash in some way, shape, or form. And that's what I want from this. And like I said, I'm not gonna keep repeating myself, but I just want them to capitalize on him being a villain and not making him some anti-hero thing. Make him a menace. Make him an actual big bad villain. And I think that's pretty much it. And I think that wraps it up. I really am curious to see who the actual antagonist is of this movie and the actual villain. Or if they do make him the villain, then I guess who is the antagonist. But I guess we'll see when the movie's out. And I'm interested in it. I'm going to watch it, and I'll make videos on that as well when it's released. I'm excited for it. So, this October, here we come. And maybe I will get into a different video about other characters I want to see in movies, since they do have this umbrella of solo villain movies that have been coming out a lot recently. Maybe I'll make a video on what ones I want to see. Because this video was strictly about Black Adam and the trailer and my thought, and that's exactly what it was. So, you've came to the end, and you've heard me out to your heart's content. And I talked to my heart's content. Maybe some stuff was repeated, and I repeated myself, but it was mostly just to get my point across and make it make sense in the best way I can. And maybe I did stutter a little bit when I talked, but I'm half asleep. Sorry about that. Just got to deal with it. But anyways, thank you for watching, and especially if you got this far. Good job. I'm proud of you. Good job, and thank you again. I appreciate it greatly, very much. Subscribe, like, comment, share, etc., etc. All that common YouTube stuff. And that's all. This has been Ghosty, and, well, I bid you farewell.